It's recording.
Thanks, brother. Thanks so much for showing up, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I love this class. It's funny.
It's recording? Okay.
Hey, dude. Hey, man, how are you? Oh, okay. I feel like I know you from somewhere. Where's your yeah, okay. My car, yeah, go ahead, oil pressure in my car started acting up. Oh, wow. That's not good.
To kick off a 2020 campaign cycle that is going to knock everyone's socks off. Am I right? Can I get it? Okay, so, but first and foremost, we are going to start off with an invocation led by our Vice Chairman, Nick. Listen, Nick, if you want to come on up and lead us in prayer.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, we open our hearts and minds and souls to worship you. Thank you that today we dwell in your kingdom and we live in your presence. Thank you that we gather together. We join with all Christians among the world to glorify your holy name. Come be with us, inspire us, lead us into our time together. We all ask this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, if you guys can please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Ready? Put a hand over your hearts. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
presentation, the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. I know it's a mouthful, but when you leave here, you'll be like, not today, I'm gonna be RNHA, hey. So I just wanna introduce our chairman. He's 20, almost 20,000 followers strong on Instagram. I can barely get like 5 likes, just saying follow me today, you can follow my handle. And he has been such a dynamic leader for us. He was just thrown into this not that long ago, and he is building the plane as he flies it. Can we give it up for our chairman? And
I want to thank every single one of you to make the time to come out here. Some of you just met me 5 minutes ago. I was a crazy guy telling you to come up here. But yeah, so a little bit about myself. Born and raised, single mother parent home. After 18, I decided I was a big boy and I was going to join the military, so I served the U.S. Coast Guard for 11 years strong. I'll be honest with you, I was never big into politics. I was the kind of guy that said that stuff is not for my demographic, that's for like rich people, right? That's not for me. But then 2016 happened. And I will say this, Trump has activated not just myself, but so many activists in our communities that people say, I'm tired of the fake news, I'm tired of the mainstream media, I'm tired of the narrative that we all have to vote a certain way. And so here I am as chairman today for the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, and I hope that with this organization and with people and the support of all of you here, that I am able to flip all the voting demographic for the Hispanic and Latino engagement. And so the way I plan to do that, just a little bit, is just about a week ago, we held a city cleanup in South Los Angeles, and we showed up. We showed up with about almost 100 volunteers, all conservative, from all, we had all age ranges and we had all kinds of people. On social media, I go by conservative.latino. That name kind of sticks. I use it more of a marketing strategy. So whenever Trump posts something, I have notification. I'm like, I need to be the first to comment. And so I post something on there and people see the conservative Latino and I usually get 2 reactions. People are really triggered by my name, and then they message me something very nice, right? Oh, you sell out, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, thank you so much for your support. And then usually the people that are really interested in what we're doing, especially when they find out, it's really easy. I always say this, I know a lot of conservatives in conservative states always give us grief here in California. But I say, you know what, I don't think there's anything harder than being a conservative in such a blue state like California. So I know that there's a lot of refugees from California that moved to Texas and other states, but I commend each one of you here today. I know Brad Parscale said that he was one of those refugees, right, that moved further east and east, but I think that more importantly, we need people like you guys here today to stay and fight for our state, because I love California. I was born and raised here, you know, and I want to make sure that I leave off my children with a better California than what I have now, what we have. I mean, you see it, right? And every time you go put gas. I drive a Prius. That's, I say incognito that way. So people are like, you know, they'll see me at the rallies, and then I'll hop in my Prius, and they're like, no, that can't be him. Like, we're looking for like a big red truck, you know, with flags, and so that's how I kind of skate by. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate each and single one of you today. This is my first speaking event, so I apologize for my stuttering. But thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy the presentation and some of the guest speakers that we have here today.
so you heard from our chairman, very wonderful, thank you, Anthony, great. Next we're going to introduce our vice chairman. You know him from leading the prayer just a few seconds ago. Nick Rosales is our vice chair, so why don't you come up and talk about yourself for a couple minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I grew up in a conservative family, and from day one, when Ronald Reagan ran for re-election in 1984, I was there, helping participate, knocking on doors, getting out the vote. My family was instilled in us the quality of hard work, perseverance, and dedication, and family. And that's what makes a lot of Hispanics with that line. Ronald Reagan said it best. We're conservative, but we don't know it. And that's what we need to do. We need to inform the Hispanic community that they are actually Republicans, not leftists. So we need to go ahead and show the values similar to what they have in Gary. So with that, I plan to participate and help out in getting the Hispanic vote, and we'll go out and get Trump elected again.
That's right. We want to earn the Hispanic vote, not just buy it. So our treasurer, wonderful, great, beautiful, magnificent. I have no shortage of amazing things to say about this woman. She has been not only a kind friend, but a mentor and a loving steward in every which way. Michelle is our treasurer. So just wanna.
I'm not gonna make you guys crane your necks. I'm just gonna say hello. My name is Michelle. I'm willing and able to go up and down the state. So if you guys have an organization, an event that you want the Republican National Hispanic Assembly to be working with, we are ready to get plugged in with all of you. Our idea is we are all one team. Yeah, there's different teams on the team. There's safety, there's defense, there's offense, but we're one team, so we're here to work with all of you. We thank you for being part of our event. We're excited to be here because, you know, we've gone up and down the state talking to people saying, because people want to know how do you engage Hispanics. And my challenge to all of you is forget Hispanics. Like, how comfortable are you talking to anybody? Like on the market, on the street? Are you stopping and saying hello to people and telling them your story? If you're comfortable doing it with anyone, it's the same thing with Hispanics. So we're just going to get out there. We're going to be in our community. And we look forward to hearing from all of you at some point too, so we can help. Whatever events you have going on. Thank you.
And next up we have our state secretary.
My name is Christian. So I actually joined the RNHA back in January through Michelle. I actually met her through the campaign trails, and so we met and then we talked, and I saw that she had a vision as far as not just the same, but we both share the same vision as far as here in California, reaching out, especially to the Hispanic communities, and not just them, but everybody as a whole. But a little background on myself. I'm a California native. I also have served in the military, the U.S. Army, and I was there for a couple of years. And then right after that, got out and started my own business. So I have a small business. And I have a family. I'm a man of faith. And as many like the others spoke here, we love California. We don't like what's going on and what's happening in our state. And so I feel the RNHA, especially in California, I think we can go out there and reach that vote, especially the Hispanic vote, and within our communities. I mean, I did run for office in 2018, and in the district that I ran in, it was about 70%, 79% Hispanic. And majority of those folks that we went out there, who are you? What are you doing? You're the first Republican that's ever walked by my neighborhood in so many years. And so we need to be out there. We need to be engaging these folks because once we get the dialogue going, once we start communicating with them, they realize, oh wait, we've been waiting for the wrong party this whole time. So let's get the message out there, and then there's just a little bit of who I am. Right?
What is your neighborhood? What was it?
Sorry?
Where did you run? What's your neighborhood?
Oh, so I ran in District 35 for the congressional office, right there in the city of Ontario, Pomona, Fontana, Chino, Bloomington, that area there. So it was a great race, but we need more work to do.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Christian. And I'm the state parliamentarian, probably the worst role for me because I hate reading. Just kidding. I'm Andrea Duarte, and I have been in politics since 2012. I've worked on congressional races, assembly races, a U.S. Senate race in Louisiana with Jordan, actually. That's how we met. It was very good in New Orleans, hey. And I also worked on the 2016 election cycle. I worked for the RNC during President Trump's initial bid for the White House. So that's kind of my experience. I also most recently worked for the Assembly Republican Caucus in Sacramento for 2 years. I'm actually a public affairs firm. So that's a little bit about me, and I am passionate about California. I love California. I love the weather. weather. I love the beaches. I love being able to go to Lake Tahoe and to go to Bodega Bay in a weekend. Like, it's amazing. But what's not amazing is seeing what's happening to our state, like Christian mentioned. So that's why we can't win in California if we don't win the Latino vote. We are a majority now. Pause for a back. Thank you, Bill in the back. Our mission. This is our mission. This is the main thing. We have a lot of different pillars, but these are the three main pillars that you've been hearing at the convention all weekend long. And guess what? Hopefully some of us will walk away getting it today. We are here to engage, we're here to educate, and we're here to elect. That's what we're here to do. There's no more just like, oh cute, they're doing stuff out there, let me just watch it on TV. You gotta hit the pavement, you gotta get to the streets, you gotta talk to people, because that's how you're gonna win elections. The old tired times are over. One thing I've been saying a lot is, we're not abandoning our roots, we're expanding them. That's what we're doing. And that's what we want all of you to get plugged into today. So, the first thing, engagement. How is the RNHA gonna do that? This is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it by going to our local Hispanic chambers. We're gonna do it by going to community events, community festivals. We're gonna do it by going to Latin culture events, community coffees. We're gonna be everywhere and anywhere. This is important to do. I mean, how else are we gonna meet people, right? Another huge thing is using social media to amplify our message. You can't do anything nowadays without your cell phone. I literally get lost in my own city without my cell phone, and I live there. So it's just, everything is on our phone. Social media has just taken over. That's how President Trump won 2020, or 2016 and 2020, in Jesus' name. That's how we have to amplify our message, and that's how the RNHA is gonna do it. I know, Anthony, do you wanna talk a little bit about how you use social media to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like I said, I had started off as a social media influencer. I've been working with Turning Point as an ambassador. I've been kind of reached out by a lot of people. What I do is, in a lot of organizations, I've worked with them. What I've been able to do is turn social media into my own weapon. At first, I started with a fake avatar because I didn't want anyone knowing that what I look like, right? Because again, we're in California, and the left is just going unhinged right now. And you know, I have a family to protect, so I was a little bit scared. But as time went on, and I was able to grow my message and my platform, I had a lot of welcoming messages from conservative Latinos, and they're like, I had no idea that there were other people out there like me. I thought I was the only one. And through that, I've been able to grow. I've been able to make videos that have gone like a little bit viral and grow my following. One of the most recent videos that I did was I went to a Tulsi Gabbard event, undercover, and she actually had no idea who I was, of course. And I went in there, she was asking questions, luckily I got picked. And she probably regretted that because that video has since gone viral. So I asked Tulsi Gabbard, I worked Department of Homeland Security for 12 years. Do I look like a racist to you? I was a Spanish translator. All we were doing was upholding our nation's laws and our sovereignty that you in Congress, you people have put on there. So if you're not happy with it, change it, but don't call my colleagues and the people that I've worked with, the heroes that are still serving today, don't call them racist. Don't call them white supremacists. And I worked with all kinds of life. I had people with Confederate flags, everything. Most humble, brilliant people that I've ever worked with. Always showed me the respect. And so I asked that question, and I said, why aren't Democrats, instead of just selling it as a racist narrative, why aren't you talking about the human trafficking? If you guys are for Hispanics and Latinos, why are you allowing that 70% of the women that come to that caravan are sexually violated? Why are you allowing that? Just recently, you guys are talking about the separation at the borders. Just this year alone, 5,800 families were not families. There were cartel that were using children as mules to get people inside of the border. And this is happening. And this is what Donald Trump is trying to fight. But he's being labeled racist and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I served all 8 years under Obama. I don't remember Alyssa Milano reaching out to me and asking me why are children in cages. She didn't seem to care back then. Why all of a sudden? And so honestly, the more they try to push and shove that racist thing, I mean, people send it to me all the time, even influencers. They're like, hey man, I got this guy here, he's talking about the border, that you guys are racist. Can I send him your way? And I'm like, send him my way, I got him. And so, and even like, I wear like a shirt that says socialist no bueno. Like socialismo no bueno. People come up to me, like these liberals come up to me like, how, oh, so you're a capitalist, blah, blah. And so I start talking in Spanish, like, oh, es que en Venezuela, mira, socialismo, this and that. And they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't know you were a refugee, we're sorry. And I'm like, oh, you want to tell me and my family? We suffered. I kind of get aggressive. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, and they're like, oh, God. You know, like, oh, I'm sorry, I had no idea. I thought you were brainwashed and we can just get your vote, you know? But that's been my message. And that's why this has been going on for a couple of years now, that I've used social media as my. And I mean, now I went from 400 followers to almost close to 16,000. I've worked with Turning Point. I just did an interview with Telemundo, because there was a Telemundo reporter that reached out to me like, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, I do speak Spanish. It's actually my first language, believe it or not. And she's like, can you come down to the border? Do you know anything about the border? I'm like, I may know a few things about the border. She had no idea, right? That I used to work at the Department of Homeland Security. She's like, I want you to debate this woman. She's in San Diego. She's a college Democrat, and she's this is not. Can you debate her? I'm like, I'd love to debate her. Little did I know, she's a full-blown communist. She wasn't a democratic socialist or a socialist, but this is to wake everyone in here up that we have communists in California, and we have communists that are speaking Spanish, and they're recruiting more people. And this is why the RNHA and this meeting right here is going to be so effective, because Donald Trump had around 30% approval rating back in 2016. Now he's over 50%. And that's because of people like Drew Hernandez, who does social media. If you haven't seen his videos, he goes to every parade there is, and he's asking, and he's telling people like, hey, why don't you think about what you're about to say before just ranting off and regurgitating what the Democratic Socialists are telling you to do. Do you really think they care about you? I've gone to Hispanic communities with Spanish speakers only. And I told them, who are you voting for? This was in 2018. Who are you voting for? They're like, oh, Gavino Newsom. And I'm like, who? They're like, yeah, the Gavino, the Hispanic guy. I'm like, who told you he was Hispanic? Like, some lady from his campaigning told me that he was a Hispanic guy, that he's going to be the first Hispanic. I'm like, that's a lie. But this is the tactics that they're using. In just 5 minutes, I was able to talk to them. I was telling them about the democratic abortion laws. And I mean, how many Hispanics we have in here? I mean, just about anybody, really. Christian, Catholic, right? We're huge on that. We're huge on family. And the Democrats are pushing these abortion laws. So I make videos, and I use them as a weapon, and people share them. And, God bless that I've been able to grow that, and the message is getting everywhere. I do Spanish podcasts. I do English podcasts. Interviews with Telemundo. Univision just called me in. They want to try to see if we can work some kind of radio Spanish conservative. We're praying for that. I ask that everyone prays for that, but that's going to be a huge opportunity. Univision. If you don't know who Univision is, they're the largest in the world for Spanish news and media. And for them, and for God to open up that door to say, we want to offer you a radio station. I'm like, God, I know this is you leading me. And I want you to go before me. This isn't about me. This isn't about Conservative Latino. This isn't about Anthony Cavazza. This is about each and one of us in here to make sure that we win California, that we win Hispanics, because I care about my community. And not just Hispanics and Latinos, but every single one of you. I don't want us to live in socialism. I don't want the communists in San Diego to win. So we got to fight it tooth and nail. And so whatever they offer me, I always take it. And social media is the way. I kind of went a little bit over, but...
Impressed by Anthony all the time. Like, who gets picked in a crowd at a Tulsi Gabbard thing? Like, that's just so random. I never win anything. I'm so jealous. Okay, so that the social media is one way we're going to totally amplify our message, but also we're going to host events in our communities. Anthony's already started this. He is organizing cleanups. I don't see or hear of anybody else doing that. Just saying, he is doing some hard work out there because he truly cares about our community. People try to tell us that we love dirty air and dirty water, and I'm just like, I don't understand where people get this stuff from. Ronald Reagan was the one to institute CEQA back in the 80s or 70s, I believe, when he was governor of California. We care, we're Californians, we care about our environment, we care about what we're doing, so I love what he's doing. So that's the kind of the stuff we're gonna do. We're also gonna host our good old debate watch parties because we're Republicanos, we love getting together and partying, hey. So we're gonna totally do that, yeah. And tacos, oh my gosh, my parents actually own a taco truck. So these are just some of the examples that we've been doing: cleanups, debate watch parties. our lovely marketing director here, and just some more pictures of the stuff that we've already been doing. So education. Education is key. Show what you know. This is what we're working on here. We want to be more equipped to educate the Hispanic community. But to do that, we also have to get to know our community. We have to get to know what it is that we're supposed to be amplifying. So we're going to show up to these events. We're going to petition. We're going to survey people so that we can talk the same language. You know, because people pay attention when you're talking their language. So we want to make sure we press those hot button issues. We're also going to tell our story. We are never able to tell our story if we stay silent. We cannot do that anymore. We have to tell our story. And we're so afraid of the media. We're so afraid of going towards them. But I don't see it that way. We should talk. We should take every opportunity, like Anthony was talking about, because they're going to tell our story for us. And we can't let that happen. We have to tell it for ourselves. And so I think that just utilizing those mechanisms will really amplify our message, like I've been saying this whole time. Another thing I really, really am excited about is Hablemos. And Hablemos is, we were inspired by some people that are doing different series where we're just talking to people on the street, having casual conversation about issues that we face every single day. And Hablemos is going to be what we're hoping to be a bi-monthly series where we just talk to people. We bring up an issue and we talk about it. And we open the dialogue and try to change people's minds, because that's where education starts. So that's the stuff we're excited about. And then electing, of course, like you've been hearing, we train, campaign, we win. And that's how we're going to elect people. We're going to recruit volunteers through the RNHA. Yeah, you're part of that. Everybody sitting in here, I'm holding you to it. Turf walking, what we're going to be doing is walking people's neighborhoods. It's what Brad, who was in Brad Pascal's? Were any of you guys in there? Just me? Just a couple of us? Yeah, so knocking those doors, talking to our neighbors, like he said, he can only do so much from behind the computer screen. It's you talking to people. It's you having that dialogue. You may not change somebody's mind today or this election cycle, but you have to think of the long game. And that's what I feel like Republicans in the last few decades, that's what we've forgotten about, the long game. So turf walking is something that we're going to do. And then also phone calling. Phone calls. This is what we got to do. We got to touch people. Studies have shown that it takes 7 points of contact before someone will respond to you. And I don't know, that might be a little outdated. I know that was a few years ago that I read that. But it takes multiple points of contact before you can actually convince someone, before you can actually have a real dialogue, before they stop slamming the door in your face. And we're going to do it. Who's with me? Anybody? I feel like doing that whole beyond thing, but we're not there yet. We're fine. Only the older people in the back laugh at that. Okay, so where do you fit in? You fit in right here in the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. You're like, well, I'm not Hispanic. That's okay. We'll take your money. No, I'm just kidding. You fit in right here. Why join the RNHA? I'll tell you why. Not only do you get to win here, you get so tired of winning. Lord Jesus, I hope so. We're going to have exclusive monthly updates on events, happenings, panel discussions. We are going to keep you abreast on everything that's going on, because this is how we win. We win by communicating. It's better to over communicate than to be like, hey, give me like $10, see you in a year or 4. And then we're also going to give you access to VIP opportunities at Republican leaders and meetings and special events. And then we also have special access to President Trump's 2020 Latino Advisory Board. So some exciting stuff that's happening behind the scenes. We have people that are very passionate about this and who fly across the country on their own dime to do stuff like this. So we would all be so honored if we were on board.
I just wanted to touch on that very last one. It'll be quick, I promise. So what we mean by special access to President Trump's 2010 Latino, I'm actually in touch. I just went for training at Washington, D.C. at the RNC headquarters. And we're in touch. We're sitting on phone calls with the Latino outreach director, with the White House, working directly for Donald Trump. So what we're going to do is we're going to condense all that information that they give us. It's a lot of pages of reading and legislature and stuff that they're going to be working on with immigration reform, stuff like that. And then I kind of condense it, turn it into a weapon, and I destroy that narrative that Latino doesn't care about immigrants, but then he also tried to pass amnesty 3 times, right? Yeah, but people ignore those things. They're like, he just hates them. So I get it directly from the White House. I hear it from the phone call directly from them. I don't hear it from CNN or even see on Telemundo. I get it directly from them. And then on top of that, for RNHA National Board, three or four members, three members, our national board actually sit in the Latinos for Trump 2020 Latino, and it's like a coalition. We're working with them. They call us, let us know this is what we got going on. Nothing but great things, and we're looking at a great immigration reform come 2020. So you'll have special access to that with our newsletter. We'll keep you posted with what the White House is saying, so we can destroy those narratives.
So here's another thing that I have to run by my board. Love you guys, hope you're okay with this. I'm thinking we could do teletown halls where we host and inform all of you guys what's going on. And we have a special guest on, that would be fun, am I right? Yes, no? Okay, maybe just me, I'm such a nerd. Why is the RNHA relevant in 2020? Like I mentioned earlier, Latinos are the largest minority voting demographic, at least in the state of California. Winning without Latinos is getting harder and harder to do, especially in the state of California. And Latinos are a growing part of our national and state economy. We're buying more homes. We are starting more businesses than ever before. During the recession, I went to a Latino summit conference on economics and how we're buying more homes. We're starting more businesses. During the recession, Latinos bought more homes and started more businesses than any other demographic during a recession. So we're growing, not just in numbers, but in influence. And if we want to have a seat at the table, we have to start with those business owners, those homeowners. We have to start with everybody and talk to them. So those are some reasons why we're relevant. Okay, so here's our contact information if you guys want it. This is Anthony, our chairman, Nick, our vice chair, Michelle, our treasurer, Christian, our secretary, Needs, the parliamentarian / resident comedian, whatever. Cool. Love the chuckle, thanks guys. So yeah, that's our contact information. I don't know if you want to take a quick pic. Sorry. Wait. Hold on.
We do have some business cards out at the table as well.
And before we move on, I do want to challenge you guys. In the back, we have these commitment postcards. And these commitment postcards, Michelle's holding them up in the back. You're going to put your name on the back. You're going to write your address. And then you're going to check the box that says, yes, I do want to volunteer at least 3 times in the 2020 cycle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be so sneaky. We're going to send it to you in like September of 2020 and be like, remember what you said? We want your commitment. We want you guys to walk the streets. We need you guys. We really cannot, we can't do it without you. We have 8 seats to win back. Commit today to volunteering at least 3 times. 3 times, that's it, that's all we're asking. I feel like, I don't really like talking to people and, you know, I get nervous, you know, on the phone, or I get nervous in person. Drive someone, you know, drive someone. That's an easy thing you can do. So we're always hungry for volunteers, as you guys know. So now we're moving to our separate portion of the program.
Should we be Johnathan first?
Okay, yeah, sure. Just kidding. We're going to move on to one of our speakers here today. He is someone that Anthony knows pretty well and someone who has a great testimony. So I am going to introduce our citizen journalist and pro skater, Johnathan Miranda. So if we could welcome him up, that would be great.
Hi, how are you guys doing today?
Great.
My name is Johnathan Miranda. I'm a Latino skateboarding pro skater, so I'm the conservative Beto, except I'm actually Hispanic. So I'm going to get into pretty much what I've done and actually how I met Anthony. Originally, my story comes from my mom actually legally coming from Nicaragua. So she came here legally through the system. I'm actually a second-generation American on my dad's side. And so through so on and so forth, I learned that as a Latino, that nothing comes easily. You have to work. Latinos are naturally born into faith, work, and family. Well, one of the main things of, trying to move this way because I don't want to trip on this cord, was that as I got into politics, it happened over high school. And over time, what got me into politics wasn't talking about it, but seeing it implemented in my schools. I was told by my teachers, by coworkers when I was having a job at the time, that compared to white people, I wouldn't succeed. It didn't matter how hard I worked, how hard I educated myself, and how hard I learned. I was always considered, pretty much, not privileged. And to me, I always wondered, where did that mindset come from? I don't believe in white privilege, but I do believe in a victim mentality that sadly minorities have. Minority entitlement. Believing just because we are a certain race we are pretty much in debt to be given something to us. And that's something, a big issue that's for me, I've seen over time. As a professional skateboarder, I was actually doing contests. I was the #1 skateboarder for Monster Energy for 2 years straight. I got 2 covers on True Skateboard magazine. And then one time I tore my ACL, my meniscus, which had me out for a year. And at that time, it allowed me to, since I can't skate, might as well do something. And it allowed me to get more into politics, get more educated. And this was in 2015. And when 2016 came along, skateboarding did something that it had never done before. It got political. Mind you, at the time, skateboarding, if you think about it, you might think punk rockers or guys that smoke weed. Sadly, that is true. And the only one difference is I don't smoke. I'm actually a sober person. It's not my thing. So being already an outcast in a community that is very dominated by substance abuse, and being also in my faith, I'm a Christian as well. The main 3 most important things in my life were the day I found skateboarding, the day I found punk, and the day I found God. And then the next day was the day I found out of how school education was telling me to hate the wrong things. I would talk to my teacher and say, hey, excuse me, what am I going to learn about money? Oh, you don't learn about that. Okay, what am I going to learn about taxes? You're not going to learn about that. What am I going to learn about anything? What am I being learned to being taught what to do? As a matter of fact, I wasn't being taught to think, I was being taught what to think.
Yes, yes.
And as more as I got into growing more and getting into it, and if you don't know, punk is very anti-government, it's very anti-establishment, and it's very think for yourself. That's where my process grew into. The concept of thinking, okay, if I'm anti-government, I don't want to be told what to do, and I want to think for myself, and also I'm a Latino who does have the beliefs of Christianity, who does believe in hard work, and also who believes in traditional values. The one party that accepts that, accepting me whole, was the conservative and the right-leaning party. As I got more into it, I started being more evangelical about my beliefs, which later on I got dropped by 3 of my 4 sponsors. The only one stuck with me till to this day was Monster Energy. All because at the time Trump was announcing the wall, and that was considered racist, bigoted, the whole 9 yards. So if you guys didn't know, apparently I'm a white supremacist because I support the guy. It's weird. But as everything kept going on, and I started getting more into politics, I decided to not let other people tell me what to think, and start focusing on what I thought was right. Whereas later on, as you see, citizen journalist, I started doing more education, and I started looking more into the subject that the news wouldn't talk about, or what the news would flip. The mainstream media said that Trump was racist because he believed that a wall would keep out immigrants. No, and he was saying he would keep out illegal immigrants. He would keep out those that were coming from the border doing bad things, which was true. As it kept going on, later on, meeting after meeting, we went to the Wall Symposium in Texas, El Paso, showing the whole situation. And they were telling us that over 80% of women that try to cross the border are raped. That children who try to cross the border are given birth control, so they don't get pregnant on their way to come to this country. If this country is so bad, when I'm hearing the left of the squad saying that it's concentration camps, then why are they trying so hard to leave Mexico, trying to come to this country that's benefited and around the values that we've forgotten to this day? Now, as I am part of this group and organization, I decided to more do research. I went with RNHA before, bienvenidos, going to the White House. He's the same call as Anthony gets, I do as well, because we try to work on keeping the news, because sadly, MSNBC, CNN won't tell you anything, or they'll butcher it. And as I got more into, as I keep saying, in politics, I kept seeing how corrupt it really is, and how they see the Latinos not as a group or even an ethnicity, but just a mere vote. That's what you see in the last Democratic elections. You're hearing this butchered Spanish, which I don't think was Spanish, going on and trying so hard to reach out to Latinos. Why is that? Sadly, both sides at the moment have not successfully reached out to the Latino culture, and now they're realizing that. The Latino culture is a sleeping giant waiting